So this time, we will now listen to our very own Satish Devji.
लक्ष्मीकांत वरप्रद अनेन तर्पणेनाथ प्रेत मोक्ष प्रदो भव। ओम नमो नारायणाय। हम उस चतुर्भुजधारी महाविष्णु भगवान नारायण जो पुंडरीकाक्ष है, जो पापों का विनाश करने वाला है, हम उस भगवान से प्रार्थना करते हैं कि सद्गति आत्मा कठिनाई के बिना इस जन्म मरण के चक्र से छूट जाएगा और मुक्ति मिल जाएगा। हमारे मन में दुख से पीड़ित हो गए हैं, लेकिन हमें स्मरण करने की आवश्यकता है कि द्वितीय अध्याय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता में लिखा है कि आत्मा शरीर मरने पर आत्मा जीवित रहता है, इसीलिए हमारा शोक का विनाश होगा। My revered Panditji Ganesh, our humble pranam to you. And also our Pujari ji, Pujari Kabir ji, my pranaman vanakkam to you also. It is for an unfortunate reason, as Panditji said. Normally in a setting like this, you are accustomed to have him here with us. If the three of us are here, we would see him invariably here as well. Now, just to share how I know Uncle Indar ji. Priyaji said, 21 years. You might not believe, but I've been around for a lot longer than 21 years. You can disagree if you want to. But I've been around a lot longer than 21 years. But I have only been in this country for next month will make 9. I was just actually calculating in my head. As you said, time flies without you knowing it. I didn't even realize it will make 9 years I'm living in this country. So really, my time of knowing Uncle Indar is limited to 9 years, really. But from when I first came here, I had the opportunity. Apart from the satsang, we have heard a lot about the satsang, his musical ability and so on. Well, every single occasion you can think of, he had an appropriate song for it. I don't think there was any time when he did not know an appropriate bhajan. For example, when he's doing Navgraha Puja, there's a stotra Japaku Sumasankasham, which Panditji will know very well, and he set it to music and sang it very nicely in the form of a kirtan. This is what I'm saying about appropriate. You cannot get more appropriate than that. With all due respect, and I say this, I say this with folded hands and all humility. With all due respect, we must be very careful about what bhajan we are singing when, because they have meaning, and if we do not sing the appropriate one, then we are disrespecting the meaning of the bhajan. Now, why I raise that? Because very often, and he was one of the few, very often when you ask for Navgraha Puja, what will you hear often? Aaj andhere mein hai hum insan, Gyan ka suraj chamaka de Bhagavan. Now, because they hear the word suraj, they think that the word Surya Bhagavata is a Surya Bhajan. Very often you hear this, and simply because you're taking one word and not understanding the full meaning of what it says, it becomes inappropriate. So, as I said, in humility, I'm saying that because I just want to point out how important it is to have to follow his example and have appropriate bhajan for the appropriate time. And the last occasion I think it really was his last major function that he would have led the kirtan for. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. It was 2 weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago on a Friday. I actually officiated a wedding in Prem Bhakti Mandir, and he was there singing. And once again, every stage of the wedding, he had the right rendition to give. And that was only a couple of weeks ago. He was polishing a little bit with a broken toe and everything, but still, he did not fail to fulfill his requirement of singing the appropriate kirtan at the appropriate time. But the last thing I will say, before I sing something in his memory, the last thing I will say is that it was really sitting in the car. That was another form of satsang. Because many of you may know that, very often, he relied on somebody to carry him to places. And very often, if I'm officiating, I will pick him up and I will carry him to various places. One time, even till upstate, we went to. That is Behin Michelle's family there. Parents, actually, up there. And in those few hours, it is not a boring drive at all because the conversation keeps flowing. And he has a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge about music. If you ever look at his music copy, it always marked what rag is at the top, what tal, everything. All these precise information, all these are important things which we often overlook. Not only that, about dharma, the practice of dharma, the practices we involve ourselves in, which are based on Shastra, which are based on custom, all of these different custom and conversation we used to involve ourselves in. Now many of you may know, although he liked our community, I think, more than any others, but he was from Trinidad and Tobago, although he preferred the Guyanese community. I love Trinidad, by the way, just to clarify that, but this kirtan was made popular by a group in Trinidad. I never actually heard him sing it to my recollection, but still, he had a love for his country too, because in August, when we were doing that, what we refer to at Akashvani Media, the virtual satsang, it was during the month of August, was Trinidad and Tobago Independence Day. And even for that, he had a song to sing about that. So you see, he did love his country very much, and it is from his country people that I heard this kirtan. It is a very old one, and you hear it from other people growing up as well, but really, it was them who popularized this. Huh? Yeah, Tumri, you ready? Hare Rama, 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 Hare
करियही नामा